Good morning, everyone. It is, on my clock at least, 9:30, and so I've started the recording. So all of our sessions will be recorded, as I mentioned in the email, but we don't want that to inhibit you from feeling free, like this is a brave and safe space. And we will have a chance to set some ground rules for the ways that we interact with one another in this academy, too. So that is coming in the early part of today's session. But I should introduce myself. My name is Carolyn Matiski. I know several of you on the call already, which is exciting to see your friendly faces here. And the best part of my job is getting to meet new leaders who are eager for the challenge of leadership. And so you're in the right place, and I look forward to meeting each of you. We have record attendance in this academy this year. And so we have to be a little bit more disciplined with our time. And so I'll share a little bit about myself, but my bio and all of the bios of our mentors and facilitators are in the participant workbook, which was emailed out late last night. So I've been in this role here at System Administration for 7 years this month. And so I have had the privilege of partnering with NiserNet and with Christy Romer on the call here all that time. So this is the 7th Academy. And so this is one of many leadership programs that support SUNY-wide leaders and actually beyond SUNY. So we have higher education leaders from other institutions as well, which is why it makes such good sense to partner with NiserNet, because their membership is larger than the SUNY system. So you'll have a chance in this program to meet people who are within SUNY and at the system administration level, and at CUNY and some other private institutions as well. So I am going to go through alphabetically. In the participant workbook that I emailed out yesterday, there was one change to mentoring assignments. So I'll send you the updated version this morning. But I will take a look at the book, and we will start by going alphabetically. So just bear with me one moment. And actually, I'll pass it over to Christy to go next if you'd like to introduce yourself, Christy.
Sure, great. Hey, good morning, everybody. So excited to be starting our 7th Academy with SUNY Sal. It's been a fantastic partnership, and we have helped a lot of folks be able to get to the next level in their leadership journey. So that is truly what the mission is of NiserNet Education Services. And really excited to have such a large group, such a calling. We struggled a bit through the pandemic, as you can imagine, but we powered through, made some changes. Most of the academy you'll find now is virtual, except for that very last day, that capstone where we get to all come together and celebrate your applied learning projects. And there'll be more talk about that as we go forward. But I'll give it back to Carolyn. Looks like she's ready to have all of you introduce yourself to us.
Thank you so much. So first on our list is our colleague from FIT, Lawrence Bach.
Good morning. Thanks very much, Carolyn. And everybody can call me Larry, by the way. You don't have to use Lawrence. So we're doing our 2-minute bit. Okay.
Yes.
So you know my name, and as you said, I'm from Fashion Institute of Technology. I joined in 2017, and this is actually my first position at the CIO level, just FYI. I always love my job for 2 reasons. You know, the ability to impact the company or the institution where I work, right, with positive change. And I particularly am happy that I'm ending my career in higher education, because I'm always looking for additional kind of social value, right, and add beyond just sort of making money for a company, right? So I think it's great to be in higher education. In terms of a goal, from my experience here at the Academy, I would say it's a combination of maybe 2 things. One, I've done some 360 reviews in the past, and I've had some mentoring and coaching in different jobs and positions that I've been in my career. But it's been a while, probably about 10 years. So I think it'd be great to get a perspective now, and particularly in relationship to the job that I'm currently in as a CIO. And it's the hardest job I've ever had, right? So getting some perspective on how people see my impression of my performance, I think is going to be very helpful feedback for me.
Excellent. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Harry Cargile.
Hello. Hello, everyone. Harry Cargile. I'm the Director of Academic Technology Strategy and Integration for System Administration SUNY Online. So that is a part of the Provost Office. A little bit about my role. I've been involved with learning management systems for a number of years. A lot of migrations from Lotus Notes to Angel to Blackboard and now to Brightspace. One of my large projects currently is serving as the co-lead of the overall digital learning environment implementation project. So that has kept many of us busy quite a bit. Reason why I love my job. So individual campuses have a lot of challenges, and I'm lucky enough to be in a position where I can help campuses in both tangible and intangible ways to help lead to their success. And that has been very rewarding, and that's why I've spent so many years with Sony. And one of my goals of the Academy, so I do work in the office of the provost. I consider myself academic technology. So I work with academic, I work with technology, some sort of middleware. And the CIO is a fascinating creature. And I'm hoping to get a good perspective on, more in depth of what the CIO does, the responsibilities and the perspectives overall, so that I can help both the IT and academic side work together for success.
Excellent. Thank you, Harry. Ethan Koppenrath. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Yes. Can you hear me okay? Great. So I'm Ethan Koppenrath from RPI, manager of client support. Been working in higher ed, beginning as a student employee and since 1997, and spanning a couple of different institutions. Came to RPI in 2007, so I've completed 17 years here, which is hard to believe. Currently lead delivery of academic support, academic client support, IT support to our academic units here, which includes specialized client support, systems administration, for teaching and research systems, our student laptop program, oversees software, academic software licensing, and various other things. Other duties as assigned is our favorite line from our, we call performance management tool, PMT, but anyway, it seems to bubble up higher and higher on mine. So various other things that come and go. But anyway, love my job because there's a lot of opportunity to have impact here. And when I say that, sometimes it sounds like, oh, they must not have their ducks in a row. That's not really what I mean. I just mean that, I'm able to find, identify opportunities, propose solutions, and work through those things, and hopefully implement change for the better. And I wouldn't want to be somewhere where I felt everything was perfect and the board and I was just maintaining, right? So that's kind of the main thing that I really enjoy, solving problems, at the heart. So my goal is really just to learn from this community. I love to be part of development in general, and I think it's very much a two-way street. So I'm hoping to get a lot from all of you. I'm hoping I can contribute something as well, and help everyone in their journey. And on a real personal level, I want to just build and or refresh the tools that I have to position myself for maximum impact and potential down the road. So thank you.
Nice to meet you, Ethan.
Likewise.
My colleague, John Green.
Hi, everyone. John Green, SUNY System Administration. I am My official title is customer service manager. Essentially, I encompass all end user technology for the most part, whether that be the phone system, desktop computing, or enterprise support management system, a bunch of other things behind the scenes. I can turn on my camera. I'm very cold in my office. It's currently blowing out air at 40 degrees, so I'm wearing like 2 coats and a hat. Enjoy my job because it's always something different. I'm in a fortunate position where I've always been given tasks that don't always fall within my true scope, but when problems can need to get solved, I seem to be able to solve them. So I get a lot of jobs like that. So my job is never boring, which is enjoyable.
And I have to say, John, I was very impressed on how you led the team dynamics project at System. Excellent job. And I'm so glad you're having this opportunity to be a part of the Academy.
Thank you.
Andrew.
Hi there, my name is Andrew Holland. I'm a systems analyst on the app development team here at Dutchess Community College. So we mainly work with banner patch management, local mods for banner, things like that, integrating third-party systems to banner. That's kind of my normal day-to-day. I love my job here because it allows me to find solutions to pain points that members of the campus community are having. Banner doesn't directly affect faculty in the day-to-day, except when they're doing grade entry, things like that. But being able to support student services offices and things like that to support the faculty, it kind of encompasses the whole campus. And I really like being able to assist people in that way. And in terms of something to get out of the academy, I haven't really had any leadership experience yet, so I would like to be able to learn from leaders in higher education on how to lead a technical team of my own in the future.
You are in the right place, Andrew. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Jeff Harrington.
Good morning, everyone. Jeff Harrington from NYSERNet. For those that connect to NYSERNet, my name might be familiar from emails that I've sent out. My role is the Director of Network Operations, which means I make sure that the network is running smoothly. Any problems that campuses that connect to us have, we resolve in a timely and effective manner. As of June, I will have been at NYSERNet for 28 years. So I'm a lifer. Reasons I love my job. I actually have quite a few, and one of them I'm not saying just because Christy's on the call, but I love the people I work with. We have a great team. We're very collaborative. It's just wonderful to work with everyone in our organization. And obviously, since I've been around so long, I truly believe in NYSERNet's mission of providing support to the higher ed community. And lastly, I love challenges, and my role within NYSERNet has changed, dozens of times over the 28 years, and everything has been a new experience and enjoyable, and I definitely don't get bored. The reason why I'm here, a little over a year ago, I started managing staff for the first time in my professional career, and I know how I like to be managed. But I know different people have different expectations from their leaders and different ways to effectively manage people. So that's what I'm hoping to learn new strategies to do so that my team is happy and effective and willing to stick around as long as I have.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Frank Hill.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. So my name is Frank Hill. I also work at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. I've been working at RPI for, I think this is my 24th year. I've been in a variety of different roles over the years, from system administrator to system programmer, and now rolled into about 6 years ago into the position of manager of central servers. I prefer that we call ourselves Central Services. We do quite a bit of the work that underpins everything from academic and from academic type systems, email systems, financial systems, everything that everybody depends on runs on the services and the servers that we provide within my group. It's a fairly central group to everything that RPI does in their mission. So as far as what I enjoy about my job, I enjoy working with the people. I enjoy mentoring them. I have a really great, very experienced team. I think the newest person on my team has been here for just over 2 years, but everybody else has been at RPI for well over 25 years. So I have a very robust team of people who know what they're doing. They actually do a lot of work that makes me look good, which is great. So I'm hoping from this academy to get a number of things. Networking is one of them. I don't have a lot of opportunity to network. It's been quite a while since I had the opportunity to take a course like this, and I'm hoping from it to gain some skills that are fresh and new in this space.
Thanks, Frank. And we've had a couple of graduates from RPI over the years, so it's nice to have a few more. And you all will get a chance to meet John Kolb, the CIO at RPI, later in the program. He'll be leading a session on team building. So we're happy to have such great participation from your institution. William Holmes.
Good morning, everybody. Yep, I'm William Holmes. I am actually located at the SICA Center. I work for the technical team over there. My local role is a technical support specialist, but the state one is the senior programmer analyst. So I wear many hats. Primarily, my job is focused around the distribution, quality assurance, and otherwise packaging of the SICA software, SUNY software, all that stuff. So it's a fun position. I've been in it for 7 years now. I kind of came directly out of undergrad. One of the reasons I really love my job and the reason I've stayed here as long as I have is because of the people. I've learned quite a bit and am lucky to have been exposed to a lot of great minds. So a lot of what I know came from them. And that's kind of what I hope to gain from this academy. I kind of want to emulate some of the success of my mentors to learn how to be a leader a bit. I've never really been in a leadership position. So that's really what I'm looking for.
Great. Thanks, William. So I just want to note your email address says Oneonta. So you're at the Oneonta campus. So do you identify as part of Oneonta or more as SICA's team?
So that's a funny question. I'm actually, although I have an Oneonta email, I'm actually fully remote from the Hudson Valley and the lower part of New York. So Oneonta is more of like our servicer for HR, technical services, and things like that. At one point, I was kind of situated on Oneonta's campus, but that's sort of removed at this point. It's in name only, I would say.
In name only. Okay. Thank you for the clarity.
Although I love my Oneonta folks. No hate there. Just
Lisa Huff.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Huff. I'm the Director of Applications Development at Rochester Institute of Technology in snowy Rochester, New York. And my team consists of 5 teams. So I have our enterprise data warehousing team, student information systems, HR and finance applications, a web applications development team, and then kind of an app admin team that does everything else. So mainly administrative applications. I started at RIT in 2005 in the web applications development team, and I kind of worked all over student information systems. Then I managed the HR finance team, and now I'm the director. So that's kind of where, and I spent 13 years at Xerox prior to coming to RIT, and I've absolutely loved my job since the day I stepped foot on campus. It's a really positive, student-centered culture here, which is why I love it. Even though, like any university, everybody comes in with lots of different motivations, but there's this sort of shared sense of we're all working for the students on the campus that I absolutely love. So it's sort of that people and culture that I love about the job. Super excited to have a network of people that I can learn and grow with here, from and hopefully keep on after this is over, which I think would be a really great outcome of this program. So I'm excited to be part of it. I have like new things for me is I have like people that live remote. So I've kind of mostly hybrid remote teams. So learning about how to, do team building, but also career growth opportunities for everybody. And then also, learning how to navigate the organization better to build like collaborative business cases to be able to bring ideas forward, like strategies around building business cases and presenting them up. So sort of like working with my team in a remote way for one direction, and then the other direction is being able to move things forward, and getting ideas from other people around that.
Excellent. Welcome, Lisa. Zachary Jones.
Good morning. Zach Jones. I work at Binghamton University. My role is the Assistant Director of Telecommunications on campus. One of the reasons I like my job is I enjoy the energy there and the people I work with. Also, we're always doing something different, it seems like, no matter because we do I also work on a lot of IT infrastructure projects. We manage all the IT infrastructure on campus. So it's, working on those projects and seeing a brand new building go up and then helping people get into that and work in a brand new space is always fun. Something here that I want to, as a goal, is to explore my abilities as a leader, see where I can grow those abilities, and also to take the next step in my career. So that's me.
Excellent. Nice to meet you, Zach. Patricia Kahn.
Hi, everybody. Patty Kahn. I am the CIO at the College of Staten Island, which is part of the CUNY system. I've been here for 10 years. I could say there are several reasons why I love my job. I work in a very diverse environment. We support both administration and academics systems, also on the technology side for teaching and learning. So there's always something different happening. There's also lots of challenges happening. If anybody's familiar with the CUNY system, there's always resources that we have to deal with which we don't have, which makes my position quite challenging. And more importantly, I love my commute. So I guess that's really a good reason why. What I want to get out of the academy, I want to be able to continue to grow professionally and to really learn from this experience and to see what I can learn from everybody here in order to continue to support the college.
Great. Nice to meet you, Patty. Lindsay Labella.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Labella. One quick thing before I get into this is I'm probably the first person you've ever met that made it through all of COVID with never using Zoom. So this is all, believe it or not, brand new to me. My current title is Manager of User Services at Genesee Community College. And I started in SUNY at Fredonia, moved to Geneseo, and then proceeded to spend 2 decades at Time Warner Cable that got bought out by Charter. The majority of my work experience has actually been in leadership until I got bored with it and put myself back in the field as a network engineer and a enterprise fiber technician, and realized that the company I was working for was getting me nowhere, and decided to move back into education. Been about a year now, and I am really looking forward to getting back into the leadership roles, learning from this academy to figure out how I can best utilize what I do, which is pump people up and make jobs fun. One thing I always tell folks is that we are here to have a serious bit of fun. You can be serious and do your job, but have a good time doing it also. And I am really looking forward to honing my skills and better understanding how I can communicate with people that don't like me.
Oh, Lindsay, you're funny. I can't believe you were never on Zoom, but you have the nicest microphone I've seen in the academy, and the sound quality is amazing. So welcome.
I do podcasts, so I might have some, you're totally going through my podcast studio right now.
John.
That's me, I take it.
Yes.
Okay. John Media, SUNY Poly. I will preface the Utica only campus now, to not to be confused with the Albany thing that was going on at one point. I'm the technical operations manager there, which basically encompasses all the day-to-day operations from user support, desktop support. We're a small campus, so again, we wear many hats in that role. I've been there for about 17 or 18 years now. And the reason that I love higher education is just the ability to tinker and create solutions without the pressure of profits and business operations. And with that is working with students and obviously being a mentor. And over the years, we've had a tremendous amount of student work studies that have worked with me and that have been able to learn and grow and move on and do great things. So seeing that progression from them over the years has been a huge, a huge thing for me. And I hope to continue that. Why I'm interested in looking forward to the academy is I'm sure across many campuses over the pandemic and such, we've had a kind of a brain drain. We've lost a lot of people on campus. And, I see myself now as it's crazy, one of the more senior people. And I think at some point, with my background and experience, this is going to be the next trajectory for my career. And I want to see if this is something that, interests me and it's where I end up really want to be. So I'm just interested to hear from other people's experiences and, things of that nature.
Great. Yeah, I didn't want to attempt your last name. I wasn't sure how to pronounce it. So thank
Media.
you. Media. I knew you were the only John, so it was a safe bet to call your first name Media. So Sean Mayer.
That's right. Hi, I'm Sean Mahar. I'm the Cloud and Client Systems Administrator for SUNY Brockport. I've been here 7 years. I've been in SUNY for about 15 years, 16 years almost. My role, I am the Microsoft 365 administrator. So basically everything Microsoft 365, also the client's endpoint management system administrator. One reason I love my job is I like my leadership. They give us lots of support, flexibility, and agency to do what we need to do. They also support me for new projects. When there's a lot of conflict within the organization, or there's some conflict in the organization, rolling something out, maybe. They support me. They support me through trainings and education too. The reason I wanted to do, one of the reasons, my goal for the Academy is I asked my leadership about how to prepare for higher leadership roles in my organization and outside my organization. And I want to build those skills. So my CIO, Steve Cook, he's also a graduate. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Excellent. Nice to meet you, Sean. Ryan Nassis?
Almost.
Nasisi. Oh, there was a typo on my contact sheet. Okay.
No person ever has got it right on the first time. My name's Ryan Nasisi. I am currently the interim director, functionally the CIO, and that no one else is. I work at Purchase College. I've been here 17 years, started as like a help desk temp, and have Peter principled my way all the way here. I love my job for kind of a selfish reason. I quite enjoy problem solving, and throughout my time here, I've been given a lot of leeway on how I'm going to be solving those problems, and it's mostly worked out. But it's very rewarding to have your plan actually come to fruition and not fail miserably. I think my main goal here is I have a good sense of how my predecessor did the job. I have a good sense of how my institution works. I have a very poor sense about how other institutions work, and I suspect there are improvements that could be made. So I'm hoping to learn a little bit about how other people are doing things and stealing the things that sound good.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Robert Pale.
Hi, I'm Robert Pahle. I'm a senior research scientist with NYU IT, in particular, but I'm in research technology. I focus on the research network. I was faculty for many years in a previous life, and so now I'm jumped to the other side, supporting faculty. And so that's also the main reason I like my job, to enable researchers to do cutting edge research. And I still teach internship classes and these kinds of things. So I also enjoy very much working with students and see them grow and progress. And I'm here because I want to hone my leadership skills, learn about aspects of CIO work that are beyond research sides, the other sides, and then hopefully learn from other experiences in this group.
Excellent. Nice to meet you. Jolly.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jolly Pazai. I work for Schenectady County Community College. My current position is a director of enterprise applications. The reason I love my job, I'm closer to Ryan in the sense I started out as an IT temp help desk. And at the time when I started, I was doing my undergrad associate degree and then undergrad in IT related field, network technologies. So I got into IT, and then since then, and in higher education. So I've been with SUNY/CUNY for about 5 years. I worked at Bronx Community College before I joined SUNY. And then higher ed about 14 years, 14 plus years in higher ed IT. And it all started with help desk intern. And then I just, kept working in higher ed. And the more I worked, the more I enjoyed. The fact that when I was going to community college, I had advisors and faculty that helped me a lot. That's, I'm sure, had some subconscious effect on deciding to continue working in higher ed. And now, having worked for as long as I have, my goal, in somewhat selfish way, is to professionally move upward. And I think this would be a very good next logical step. And so I went through the flyer brochure we had received, and see, based on what I saw on the brochure, the learning objectives, the fact that there are all these mentors who have hopefully gone through what I'm going through or will go through, and this academy, combine those two things, hopefully I'll get to learn a lot, and prepare myself for the next professional adventure, which hopefully would be somewhat in a similar position as CIO or some level of assistant or associate VP position related to IT in higher education. So I'm certainly looking forward to, these sessions and discussing, enjoying interaction with these mentors.
Great. Welcome, Jolly.
Thank you.
Tom Pearson.
Hi, folks. I'm Tom Pearson. I'm currently with SUNY iTech as a service delivery manager. I've been in SUNY for the last 13 years. One reason that I really love my job is that I really believe in higher education as a great equalizer in the world, and something that's really important. I had a lot of opportunities presented to myself through SUNY. And it gives me some satisfaction to think that I'm furthering that and giving it back to another generation that might need those opportunities. A goal for the academy, I've never really actively considered pursuing leadership positions before. Maybe the last 6 months or so, I had some very great people that I work with encourage me to maybe start thinking about it. So I'm really most excited to hear about what the beginning of some others' journeys like that might have been like, and what lessons I might be able to steal for myself.
Good. Well, you're dipping your toe in leadership. Welcome.
Thank you.
Shannon Radford.
Hi, everybody. I'm Shannon Radford, and I'm with Corning Community College. I've been with them for 9 years, but I've always worked in IT and higher education for 12, within SUNY and at private schools. I am the Assistant Director of Applications, which encompasses everything with Banner, any integration with Banner, and I also oversee the systems administrator. So probably 2/3 of the department's responsibilities fall at my desk. I also am the purchaser for IT for the whole campus. So just one more layer of the whole onion of my job. What I love about my job is talking to everybody and problem solving. Many people hate Banner, which is probably not my favorite thing, but it's 99% of my job. So solving the problems within Banner and fixing that and helping other departments on campus grow and be more efficient has been probably the best part of my job over the past few years. And then a goal for the academy is ultimately I do want to be in a higher leadership role. Most of my time at Corning, I have been and have had to kind of self-teach along the way. So it's nice to kind of have something a little bit more formal and ultimately, hopefully be in a CIO role either at Corning or somewhere else.
Great. Thank you, Shannon. Nice to meet you. Kevin Saunders.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Saunders. I work at SUNY New Paltz. I just celebrated my 25th year there. I am the director of end user support end user services and support. I have 4 teams that report up to me. The desktop support team that works on the office and printers and stuff in faculty staff offices. Academic computing, which handles classrooms and laboratories. Our IMS team, which does our AV gear. And then the service desk, which is obviously our first point of contact for our technical questions and issues and problems. One reason I love my job is that every day seems to be different and full of challenges. And I think that helps keep me interested in the role because it doesn't seem like it's the same. I love working in higher ed. I think being around students makes you feel like you're not getting older, even though you are. I guess one of the things I'd like to get out of the academy would be to develop some skills around trying to better connect with some of the resistors within my organization. I think for the most part, the majority of people on my team, see the vision where we're going, and they're on board, and they participate in what's going on. But then I have a few that, for one reason or another, they always seem to, if I say the sky is blue, they're going to tell me it's black. So just looking for ways to try to strengthen those relationships and see what I could do to try to get people to work effectively together. Thank you.
Brian Sullivan.
Good morning. I'm Brian Sullivan. I'm with the University of Albany. I manage the network team, network design and engineering. It's the official term. I'm relatively new to the university. I worked 20 years prior in state service. So I worked for the New York State Comptroller. And I just recently made the jump back to my alma mater to work here. I would say one of the things I love about this job is, in so much of my career, I was just used to always, supporting all the people in 1 or 2 buildings. And now I'm basically responsible for supporting people in a mini city across 3 different campuses. And it's a unique challenge every single day. You'd be amazed how much random flooding happens to damage network equipment on a regular basis. But you get to troubleshoot problems that you never dreamed of really dealing with in my previous life. So I think that's really interesting. And as far as the goal for the academy goes, I've taken quite a bit of leadership academy. I've been managing staff for about half my career, so probably about 10 years now. And, I've taken different leadership academy, I've taken a supervisory training course back in the day, but I think higher education brings a bunch of unique challenges and opportunities, and I really want to focus on what I can learn about how I can succeed more in higher ed and take my skills from dealing with bureaucracy that is the state and moving into the bureaucracy that is higher education.
Welcome, Brian. Matthew Farrakhan. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So my name is Matt Farrakhan. I'm a physician. I trained in internal medicine, and I've been at Stony Brook University Hospital for probably about 15 years. And in about 10 years with IT as a first associate CMIO. And then now I'm the Chief Medical Information Officer for the health system. I have 3 teams under me. I have reporting, patient-facing technologies, and the CMIO team, which represents various specialties in the hospital, all reporting up to me. And I guess I like my job because physician burnout is real. And, I was getting there in my career. And, this was an opportunity to take just the complaints of why things sucked to kind of like, I'm going to be able to do something about it. So my job is great because there's a lot of things that can be fixed, and, I can make effective change to make like my own life when I do my doctoring or my colleagues' life better. So I get to kind of really see the change and feel it when I do it. So that's what I really like about my job. And when I'm not doing the doctor stuff, my commute is also very good. So I do appreciate that. And what I'm looking for from the course, I've done leadership classes before. I have my 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 conferences that I go to around the country, and so I have relatively a decent network. But in my travels, I haven't met like SUNY people as much. So I thought this was a good opportunity to network and learn from SUNY people versus Utah or Florida or Delaware.
Excellent. Well, nice to meet you, Matthew. Philip Valenta.
Hi there. So, yep, Phil Valenta from Binghamton University. I've been there for 12 and a half years now. I graduated from Alfred State actually in 2011, where I did help desk at Alfred University for 2 years. My tenure at Binghamton, I've grown from a desktop admin to the systems admin at the Watson College. We're a small separate group from ITS on campus, but we work with them on the campus as well at large on various projects, including virtual desktop infrastructure and high performance computing. We take advantage of the infrastructure that Zach Jones deploys out. Working at the university, there's always something new or challenging. The dynamic of research provides a lot of different types of opportunities so our group has to work with researchers and their students individually, because their needs are all different, but there's some overlap here and there, but it's always a different challenge every day. From the academy, I'm hoping to become a better leader and not only retain that knowledge that I gained from this, but pass it on to my colleagues as well to help them with their leadership goals and their aspirations.
Nice to meet you, Philip. And last but certainly not least, my colleague, Grace Valenti.
Morning, everybody. Hi, Carolyn. Nice to see you. Yes, I'm Grace Valenti. I work at System Administration. Some of you probably have known me and at least seen my name come over your desktops from anywhere from the COVID response from SUNY to the DLE administration to now the Global ID API. I'm kind of in charge of that as well, at least the communication and trying to bring the campuses on with the new Global ID API. I started at SUNY in 2004, so this is my 20th year. I started as a student intern in the help desk, and I went on to be a lead in senior programmers, and now I am the assistant director for web shared services, which is now a team of me. And and I also direct the IT developers for our human resources that work on the human resource system for the UI. I love things about my job. I love the people that I work with. I love the work that I get to do as far as trying to assist students and working in higher education. But there are some things that I don't like about the job and about SUNY and kind of the things that go along with the job as a whole. And I'm hoping to bring myself into a position that I can change those things and make it better, not only for my day-to-day job, but for a lot of people across system.
Excellent. We are going to transition to introducing the mentors, giving them a chance to say hello. You'll learn a little bit more about each of them throughout the experience and later this morning, in particular, when you break into your small groups. So you'll really start to form some connections with them. But I'm going to go alphabetically with our 6 mentors and ask them to do the same exercise of introducing yourself briefly. So our first mentor comes to us from Stony Brook, and his name is Simeon Ananu.
Good morning. I'm delighted to be here. Simeon Ananu, Vice President and Chief Information Officer here at Stony Brook University. I've been in this position just shy of 6 months. However, this is my 22nd, almost 23 years as a CIO at a number of universities across the country. Altogether, this is almost my 30th year in higher ed IT. So my role as a CIO, I don't think that I control anything, but I'm more of a convener of important conversations to connect, to position IT as an essential element and a strategic element of the institution, and to be able to use IT to make a difference in the lives of our students, faculty, staff, and most importantly, our researchers, since research is in our DNA, using computational capacity to help promote discoveries. So that's what I like to do: IT governance and IT strategy. So what I like most about my job is finding myself at the center of very important conversations, particularly at this juncture where higher education seems to be struggling in the public eye, where people are questioning the value of higher education, seeing myself as an institutional leader, not necessarily just to sit here to occupy the space, but to help make an impact. So I like being part of the impact-making engine of the institution. One of the reasons, so my goal for the academy very quickly is twofold. One, share some of the insights that I've collected over the years, and at the same time, learning from the cohort around the challenges that they too may be experiencing. So looking forward to the journey over the next few months.
Thank you, Simeon. We're so happy to have you back. Simeon was a mentor in, I think, the first cohort that we offered. So 7 years ago, when he was in his role at the University at Albany. And so as soon as we saw him rejoin the SUNY family at Stony Brook, Christy and I were clamoring to invite him back. So you're making an impact on this academy, serving as a mentor, and even just how we can continue to improve measuring the progress and improvements that we're making with the experiences we're offering people. So thank you so much for your energy and time. I know how busy you are, and I'll just put this out here now. Since we do have such busy CIOs that are supporting this experience, you may see people hop on and off our sessions. And so don't be distracted by that. They know, when we really, really need them here, and they will be here to support you. And so we just want to put that out there that you may see some of that traffic and activity. So thank you again, Simeon, for all that you do. Kitty Bridges.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kitty Bridges from NYU. I've been in higher ed for over 40 years, so I'm the serious gray head in the group. I retired from the University of Michigan and moved to NYU in 2007. I'm what the folks in the baseball world would call a utility infielder. I've done all the jobs over the years, even serving as interim CISO 3 times, count them 3 times. I didn't sleep very much, and interim CIO once. For the last 18 months, I've been an senior advisor for strategic initiatives. We can talk later about what on earth that means. One reason I love higher ed is change, and yet the constancy of mission. So the fact that our faculty and students are constantly changing the ground rules and the game while the constancy of mission remains. And what I'm looking for the Academy is to give back by sharing insights from many years, and also improving and thinking about how to lead from wherever one is.
Excellent. I can't wait to hear more of your stories, Kitty. You've got so much to offer. Denise Burby, so happy to have you back. This is, I want to say, like your 3rd or 4th time serving as a mentor in this program. So thank you again.
Okay, sorry, I've had technical difficulties. I love when I have technical problems on IT calls, but I'm on an iPad, so sorry if you see my fingers moving in front of my face. I am Denise Burby. I am the Chief Information Officer as a service to Corning Community College. And what that means is I'm actually employed at SUNY iTech along with Tom, but they contract me out for 50% of my time to do CIO work at Corning with Shannon instead. So I have been in higher education for over 33 years. 26 of those are with SUNY, and the last 2.5 with iTech. I retired from Jamestown Community College 2.5 years ago and started working with iTech. So now I'm with the state. My role is at Corning is to really, I look at it as translator a lot of times. I'm there to help translate what people need in different various departments, work with our IT staff to actually make those things happen. A lot of the focus right now is really bridging the departments and breaking down silos. And that's one of the things that I think I want to bring and help and see the goal for this Leadership Academy, that people can really learn. And I think that's a really important skill in your role as a CIO, is to how do you break down those silos? How do you get all your stakeholders at the table? So that is one of my goals. I think what I love about my job, I didn't do this in the correct order, I guess. Love about my job is that it is always challenging. It definitely keeps your brain active. And I love the people I work with. I think Corning's an amazing place to work. iTech's been an amazing place to work. Jamestown was an amazing place to work. And I know several people here from all of my connections at SUNY. And I think that's one of the things that I really am looking forward to, is expanding people's networks and actually just helping build future CIOs. I think this program has a great track record of getting people in the CIO roles after you've completed the program. And that's what we need here in SUNY, are really trained leaders to really make this an effective university system and help our students.
Thank you, Denise. And, you know, I don't know everybody before we go into this, so I do my best. Christy and I do our best to match up proteges and mentors, but I just have to say I'm noticing some head nodding from some of your proteges, so I have a good feeling this is going to be a good cohort and a good mix of people this year. So Lisa, Kale?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first day. It's always a little challenging, right, when you got a crowd like this on little small boxes. So I don't see all on my boxes. So anyway, I am the Associate Vice President and Chief Information Officer here at SUNY Cortland. I have actually been at Cortland for about 23 years. And then prior to that, I came from the big red school over the hill. So it was easy with clothing. It just, the C is still the same. At Cornell, I actually came to Cortland because while I loved my time at Cornell, I graduated from there. I was a very little fish in a very big pond. And so coming to SUNY Cortland allowed me to be a little bit bigger fish in a smaller pond, which meant that I could actually try to get things done and not worry about 15 layers to get through. And that has been the case. So for good or ill, the faculty can find me. And most of the time it's for good. So I actually love my role here. I'm going to jump around a little. I love my role here because I am, we here are trying to produce students that go out in the world and are our future. So while I don't work directly with a lot of them anymore, that's what I like about this place, is that generally almost everyone's here to do that, to try and produce good students. My actual overall role is leading an IT organization as well as a library. So everything IT as well as a library, which is a little bit unusual. There's a few other SUNYs that do have the library report up to the CIO. It works for us. We do a lot of IT and a lot of collaboration within the group. So for me, and whenever there's a turnover of the CIO, which luckily there haven't been too many here, there's always the question, does the library stay? So far the library stays. I actually have a master's of library and information sciences, so I do have some of that experience that I'm bringing to the table. And actually, as a side hobby, I do a leadership program here, the Leading with Impact program, Your Ripple Effect. We've been doing that for about 7 years. 7 must be the magical number for us this time around, as well as I also do side jobs of professional development and team building for various organizations across the campus as well as outside of the campus. And my goal for the Academy would be to share what experiences I have had, provide any feedback or facilitation that I can do for those that are here and have questions, as well as me to learn from you, because we can always learn.
Lisa, I feel so lucky to have you as a mentor in this group. You have such amazing commitment to professional development and leadership development, and so I just look forward to your role that you'll play. So thank you so much. Garrett McAllister, I am so happy that you are with us because he is a testament to this program. He was a graduate of the first Academy, and now here he comes back and is serving as a mentor. So welcome, Garrett.
Good morning, everyone. Garrett McAllister, SUNY Westchester Community College. I'm AVP of Information Technology here at the college. I've been here for 10 years. Prior to that, let's see, I've been in IT I was just doing the math, and I'm just going to say there's 3 decades in there of fun technology, projects, plans, all of that. And I'm only 31 years old. So no one's believing that. One reason I love my job, as I listen to everyone, if you think about it, we're developing minds, right, that are going to contribute to the fabric of our country and the world, right? So what we do matters. And if I could just say it, it's my mom was a nurse and she worked in pediatrics. So I think about how she turned out all these babies and things like that. And the other day I had a student come in, he's married, has a baby. And it was the first time I had taught, and here he is, and he brings his wife and he says, "Professor," and he says to his wife, "This is my WCC dad." Like, wow. So it means a lot what we do. I'm here to deliver the promise of technology. And I think when we get through this, we'll all have learned something from each other, not just the mentors, right? From us to you guys, but from you to us. And it's going to be a great experience. To look forward to it.
Thank you, Garrett. Sean Moriarty.
Hello, how's everybody doing? It's great being here. I'll just let you know I'm Sean Moriarty, Chief Technology Officer here at SUNY Oswego. And I guess I look at my role on campus, first of all, to lead a great team that we have of IT professionals. I think we've got a lot of experience and really a very strong team. And the second part of it is to work with the campus and integrate technology into the various aspects of the university. So I really love the job for a variety of reasons. I love the people at Oswego, and really I think the people that I work with care so much and work hard for the students, and they really see technology as an important tool in assisting them either accomplish their tasks or working towards student success. Working at college this size is really satisfying and rewarding to me, I think, because I can get to know so many of the people and understand the issues that they're trying to solve and see how technology can go and assist them to solve those problems. And I really love being a part of the program. And it is great to work with Carolyn and Christy, I think, in doing it. But I love meeting the people, networking with them, learning from you and sharing the knowledge and stories that we've had. So I've been working in higher ed for 38 years, and the last 11 years have been at SUNY Oswego.
Welcome, Sean. And we should also say thank you to Sean for his leadership as a part of the SUNY CCIO group, which generously funded 3 SUNY scholarships. So 3 people from our community colleges where we know budgets are most critical. And so they fully funded 3 scholarships for participants for this year's academy. And so thank you, Sean, for always being an advocate for the program through the fund and serving as a mentor and also nominating people from your team over the years. So you do so much, and we just really appreciate all that you do. So thank you, everyone, for going through that exercise. I know our introverts may have appreciated that we gave you the questions in advance so you could think about them, but we do want to just practice those important public speaking skills, and we know that keeping it to a brief 2 minutes is a challenge, but you all did it, so well done. We are on schedule and have a little bit more time, actually, than we had planned. So Christy, I'm going to transition over to you because I know you enjoy opening the group with the ground rules discussion, and she has a fun activity planned for us.
Sure. Thank you, everybody, for your introductions. It was great insight to kind of hear everybody's backgrounds and find out what you want to get from the Academy. That's super helpful. So the initial task that we're going to embark on is to collaborate and establish guidelines that will be essentially the best practices for our interactions during our time in the Academy. So as we go through this process, we're going to break you out into your mentor groups. And I really want to encourage everybody to participate actively and openly. This is a chance for you to have a part in shaping what the culture of our group is going to be and make sure that it reflects our collective values and aspirations. So by establishing these group norms, so we're going to have obviously 6 different groups of them, Carol and I will take them and we'll distill them down into a single list so that we can lay the foundation for positive and productive experience together. So to do this, I've put into the chat a Google Doc that we can connect to. You'll see that each mentor has their own slide. So once you're in your groups, please leverage the slide that your mentor's name is on and take notes. And you'll also see that we would like you to determine who will be the spokesperson for your group to provide a quick summary when you come back. So that's the next piece of our program this morning that we're going to take. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns?
The only thing they need to know right now is who is their mentor. So if anyone is questioning who their mentor is, please let us know. We're happy to let you know in the chat. And so we will open the breakout rooms and you'll select your mentor's name.
I've got it set up, Carolyn. They're going to automatically go to their mentor.
Oh my goodness, she's making it so easy for us today. Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome. So you're going to go into your breakout rooms. We're giving you 10 minutes. So it's going to be 9-minute timer with a 60-second countdown. So when you see that 60-second countdown pop up, please wrap up your discussion, get your final thoughts in, and then the magic of Zoom will push you back to the main room with the rest of us. So have some great discussions, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and open the rooms. It's going to push you directly into them. All right, I think Simeon must have gotten kicked out, so I'm going to put him.
He did send me a private message saying that he wanted to do his intro first because he's going to have to go off camera for about 20 minutes. So he may just be pulled into something else.
Do you want to go into his room?
Um,
Because he's not going to be there.
do you think that they need him for this?
Well, they might be waiting. If you could just pop in, let them know
Oh,
and come back out.
okay.
You want to do that, or you want me to do that?
No, I can do it.
I am not sure. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yep.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, Simeon, we can hear you. I think maybe he lost connection. I can go in there. Let's see, breakouts. It looks like he's in there.
Okay, yeah, it does look like he popped on.
Okay.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right, cool.
I put him in there, but I wasn't sure if, but it wasn't saying he was joining, so.
Hey, Kayla, how's the new office set up?
It's so nice.
Is it? Oh, good. Look at you with your fancy frames. I like those.
Hold on, let me try to blur the background so you can see.
You all have met each other before, right?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I
Kayla,
thought so.
good to see you again. So glad you're able to come back.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. we
Ooh,
got some
look at
stuff.
that.
I
I mean,
unpacked most of it, but
we just got in there. So for like day one, this is awesome.
yeah,
Christy, you should see my new office. I haven't seen it with my own eyes yet,
it's
just a
big.
picture, but it's big.
hmm And they just put the computers up, and they took the empty boxes.
Pretty much, I think.
Right, right. Oh, well, thank you, everybody. Welcome back from your breakout rooms. Hopefully you had some great conversations. We just want to quickly run through each room, the spokesperson for each room, and just give us some highlights of what you felt should be expectations of our group norms going forward. And we'll go ahead and we'll start with the first group, Simeon's group. I think, Will, you're the spokesperson?
That's correct. Good morning again, everybody. So we had some conversation based around three primary things, and my group can correct me if I'm wrong there. The first and foremost was that we wanted not only our conversations to be open, but to be confidential. What's going on at CCUS or what's going on at FIT, it's important to us, it's important to our experience, and it's something we want to be able to discuss openly without the fear of it being put out into the world and used negatively. So that was our first tenet. Our second was, although it, at this level, you would hope it goes without saying, but respect and consideration for one another is a primary point of what we want to get across, just how we want to expect and learn from one another. And finally, the big thing that we all kind of agreed on was that there's a great mix of not only CIOs in here, but CIO aspirants, and the ability to learn from one another is going to be really valuable, especially, at these different points in our careers. So those were our three big expectations.
Great, fantastic. I just want to make note for the confidentiality one. When you are in your breakout rooms, since there's a couple people that hadn't experienced them, nothing can be recorded in those. Those are totally separate and siloed from the rest. And we try to do a good job of stopping the recording when you go to the breakout rooms, even though it doesn't record it, just because it saves us some time on the back end of cutting out those breakout room sessions. So thank you for that group, Simeon's group. Next group is Denise, and I think Lindsay, you're the spokesperson.
I nominated myself as it because I noticed that we didn't have one. So I hope that was okay for the rest of the group. We took a little more of a slow start of approach to things, but we did come up with being respectful and courteous to one another. This does not have to be a formal discussion. We're not going to sit there and go, okay, and attendance for here today, and to make sure that we have everything in a specific order. However, we don't want to talk over one another. We want to make sure that if we have somebody who is not getting a chance to speak, that they can raise their hand and interrupt, but not to just barge in and interrupt somebody while they're talking. We all agreed that direct feedback is good, and it is okay to provide that feedback in front of everybody else and to keep it short. And one of the biggest goals that we were discussing was managing expectations from the mentor.
Great.
And that about wraps it up for us.
Great. Yes. On the feedback one, I actually went through a similar leadership program, and something that they told us that I thought was really helpful was feedback is a gift. it's a gift on the receiving end and it's a gift on the giving end. So if you can keep that in mind as we go through the academy, you're here to learn. So keep that feedback as a gift mentality. All right, next group, Kitty, Jeff Harrington.
I know it shocks you, Christy, that I volunteered to speak in a meeting.
Completely.
So we came up with actually a fairly long list of bullet items. Many of them, the first two groups had mentioned, but some of the ones, so I'll skip over those, but be an active participant. All of us have valuable insight. Be open to new ideas. And one that I know, again, Christy, we try to do internally is be present, try to limit distractions. That's something that all of us in our roles, we all have things going off on the side, but this is important. Make the time as valuable as possible. Ask hard questions, but be direct and positive. As others mentioned, ask for and receive feedback, just like was mentioned. The confidentiality we talked about, and one of the things that when we were talking about introverts versus extroverts is try to help people leave their comfort zone.
Nice. Nice. I like that last one. Everybody keep that in mind as we go through. Part of growth is to leave that comfort zone. And actually, Scott Vincent Guerra is going to talk a little bit about that later today. Okay, and next on the list is Lisa's group, and Lisa, who I believe is in her group, is going to be the spokesperson.
Hi, yep, and we have a great group, and I want to thank Rob. He did an amazing job scribing and these nice bulleted lists. So our lists are similar to the other ones too. We talked about a safe space, and everybody feeling comfortable sharing stories, that stays safe in the space. But we also talked a little bit about sometimes you want to share that story, and a great way to do that is to ask permission from the person who shared it. So that was definitely something I'm taking away from the conversation, because I started there like, oh, we have to make sure we maintain confidentiality, but there might be an opportunity to use that story somewhere else, and if you want to ask the person. So respect people's privacy, ask permission to share, and then we also talked about the fact that we'll have lots of people from different backgrounds, experiences, levels of leadership, and that we all want to learn from everybody and to have that constructive, direct feedback. We talked about respectful interactions, silencing your technology or limiting it. Sometimes chat gets out of control, and so we might want to limit how much we use chat. I think that's a norm that we'll have to figure out, and just coming up with good ways to not interrupt people. So maybe it's using the hand raising function in Zoom or things like that, depending on the discussion. Listening to others, everybody's point is valid, everybody's opinion's okay. And another big one that came out was, you don't always have to answer, it's okay just to pass. So like there shouldn't always be the expectation that you have to respond to something. And then try to not make assumptions. Just listen and hear and don't jump to conclusions.
Nice, nice. Yes, I concur. Rob did do a good job on those notes because it's the only multi-level bulleted list we have. Good job, Rob. And then Garrett's group, John Media.
Yeah, so a lot of the same, obviously, ideas and concepts, and actually listening to some of the other groups, great ideas that, maybe we weren't thinking of, but we came up with some similar ones with the clear communication, make sure we're being clear and consistent with each other. Obviously, being respectful, receptive to differing opinions and diversity. Again, the same thing is being engaged, providing feedback, and being present, as some of the other people have said. And then a big one is just being, again, similar to that, being respectful of each other's time, because we all have constraints and things going on, but so make sure we're being cognizant of that. Accountability is a big one, and ultimately coming together to achieve a collective goal of what we all want to accomplish. And then lastly, which came up toward the end, is again that idea of making sure that we're in a safe space and that there is that confidentiality there, that we can talk and say things in a safe space without, fear. So.
Great job. Great job. And our last group, Sean's, Frank, do you have anything but ditto to say to what the other groups
Well,
came up with?
yeah, I was going to say this. You all made my job pretty easy. Um, I would say we discussed all confidentiality, constructive feedback, being respectful, communication of others, obviously being an active participant and engaging in discussions, technology etiquette. So we all have distractions. We all understand that we have limited time together and distractions abound. I know I have 3 screens in front of me right now, so it's easy to get distracted. Try to keep ourselves from doing that as much as possible. We immediately invited AI into the conversation with Chat GPT and typed the question in and got a number of similar answers to everybody else. So apparently we're going to rely on AI a little bit here. The last one, really, I don't think anybody mentioned, was accountability, taking ownership of our responsibilities and commitments to the group, to communicate and participate and be prepared for whatever discussions we have and whatever projects we have, so that nobody is, quote, that person in the group projects. So that's about it.
Great. Thank you, everybody, for your input in that. As I said before, we're going to take all of your notes. We'll combine them and give an output tomorrow that everybody will be able to have one succinct list that we can have for the rest of the academy to follow. But thank you all so much for your input on that. And I'm going to hand it back over to Carolyn, who's going to do a kind of an overview of the whole academy, the program, and that good old applied learning project.
I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Let's see here. Can you see the agenda?
Yep, there we go. Perfect.
Okay. And can you see my notes on the side, or is that hidden?
It's hidden.
Nope. Okay, good. All right. So we've already had a chance to do some brief introductions, and love the activity that Christy organized for us and a chance to practice our breakout groups. We will spend the next until about 11:30 overviewing the academy, which will include a discussion about the applied learning project. So I know many of you come into this with some jitters about what are the deliverables, and so we want to be clear about those expectations and milestones to get you there. We'll take a little bit of a break after the overview, and when we come back, we will talk about the 360 aspect of the program. So you'll be going through a 360 project, and so I will get you ready for that experience. And then the last part of our time together here will take us to the end is a panel discussion with our amazing mentors. We will start to just scratch the surface about what are the challenges sort of contextually in higher ed, and how can we all understand what our CIOs are grappling with so that we can be equipped maybe to take on and to support them and our institutions in that. So there'll be a chance to ask some questions as well. I really encourage you to use the chat throughout. So Christy, myself, Kayla, and our mentors will all be active in the chat. So as you have questions that one of us can address, we can manage our time with the chat, but we also do want this to be as interactive as possible. So we'll try to save some space for more of a dialogue at the end. So for those of you who are new to the SAIL experience, want to share a little bit about the Strategic Academic and Innovative Leadership Institute. So we really exist with a specialty in understanding higher education. And so preparing our leaders for all of those roles. So not just IT, but understanding what is at the core of our academic institutions, and so that you can really support the students and your leaders and everyone that is a stakeholder at your institution. So we start with why. We love Simon Sinek, and so we want you to understand that's why we exist. And so we're glad that you're a part of this and have found us. So the SAIL team really is spread out all across the SUNY system and beyond. So this is just a few of the people that you'll get a chance to interact with as a part of your experience. Like I said before, all of our mentors and our instructors and facilitators that will be a part of the program are included in that participant workbook. So if you're curious about who you're learning from, they won't have a lot of time to share all of their experiences, but wanted you to have a solid understanding of who's supporting you. And I know she's in the background here. She probably has her webcam off, but we have a student assistant who's serving as our Zoom tech support. So you're even being supported by one of our SUNY students at UAlbany. So thank you, Kayla, for being with us. Our work is all based on the 6 domains of knowledge for higher education. And so this is an article that was written by the founding executive director of SAIL, Dr. Jason Lane. And he's now the president for NASH, the National Association of System Heads. And this work is just foundational. So you'll notice some of this language sprinkled throughout the program. So we will spend quite a lot of time, especially at the kickoff sessions, helping you to understand yourself and also distinguishing that from the skills that you'll need to serve as a CIO. We spend the 3rd day of our kickoff focused on understanding your team. You'll also see some of those questions in the 360 that are all connected to each of these 6 domains. So understanding your team, getting a group of people motivated and following behind is key. Also, because we are higher education, we have to understand who we're supporting ultimately, which is the students. So having a solid understanding of who we're supporting in the classrooms is pivotal. And understanding your unique institutions. I'm so happy that this year we have such a variety of institutions, so SUNY and beyond. And I would say arguably the second most important domain is understanding the context. So we'll have lots of conversations so that you feel confident, that you understand the swirling nature of things around you. I know this only applies to about half of you, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about these 4 pillars, but for those that are supporting SUNY campuses, this is important. So we've connected at SAIL the 6 domains to Chancellor John B. King Jr.'s 4 pillars for success at SUNY. So I think for any institution, you're probably working towards similar goals, but student success, obviously, there are a lot of resources and programs that are, a focus right now at SUNY. And scholarship and research never goes away. So understanding your skills and how they might apply to advancing your institution with those aspects of work are important. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is in the fabric of everything that we do at SAIL. And so that's very easy for us to connect those conversations. And we're really going to have some wonderful dialogue and begin to help you feel like this is something that you can comfortably talk about and get into those uncomfortable conversations too. Economic development and upward mobility is also an area that he is focused on. So what is the Academy? You know that we have a strong partnership with NYSERNet that is being funded by SUNY CCIO. Most of these programs are going to be virtual. So we have 8 experiences together. 7 of those are virtual. And we will get together in person to have you present your applied learning project and graduate you and celebrate in person. A lot of the work that you'll be doing that you really get into the heart of the conversations and make it real will be in those mentoring groups. So you've got a group of 4 colleagues in your group with a mentor that's been assigned to you. So that's part of what this Academy experience is. And I'm going to get into the details about that applied learning project as well. This is why you're here, right? You want to be able to achieve all of these objectives. And so just as a quick reminder, we really want you to leave understanding what your personal leadership style is, understanding that there's value in it, no matter how you feel about that today, but just being comfortable and understanding your style, how you see yourself as a leader and how it compares to others. knowing when to use those different leadership skills in the moment. So as a situation arises, understanding where to put your foot on the gas, where to let up, and for you to be able to really be clear about your vision as a leader, and then ultimately turn that vision into a reality by implementing. So you'll have a practice assignment and be able to use some of those skills and try them out with the Applied Learning Project. We want you to feel comfortable to be able to build a new team or to be able to lead the team that you have today, and be able to use those collaboration skills, not only in this group, but with your team at your campus. We're going to give you lots of practice to refine your communication and be able to present in public. And we want you to really leave with a solid understanding of what it is your CIOs are grappling with. And so that covers a wide array of issues. And why did this academy begin, and why are you here? We know that the workforce is getting older, and hybrid work environment is forcing some of this change to happen even faster. And so we want to prepare that next level of leadership to be able to take the reins and be able to lead and be effective and take higher ed into the future. This requires a lot of different skills. Here's just a few of them that we will touch on as a part of this experience. I know some of you are supervising people now, but some may not be, and that's okay. We're going to hopefully get you comfortable to be able to do that and to be able to make decisions as a leader, to motivate others, to be able to identify where you're stuck and jump into conflict in order to advance the situation without fleeing or fighting, but to really be able to resolve issues. Understanding how to use data effectively as a leader. And of course, we know that being a leader is about managing not only people, but also money and resources. So that's an important part of your role. You are the 7th cohort, and we have our record number of people with 24 participants. We are representing 9 state-operated campuses. I did include SECUS and Stony Brook Medicine in that count, so just note of that. But we also have 5 community colleges represented, which is always something that we're happy to report on. We know how challenged they are with resources, so I'm so glad that we have 5 of you with us this experience for this semester. We also have our CUNY system included and 3 SUNY system administration folks. And we have 4 private institutions. So really thankful that we have NYSERNet to be able to increase our coverage of higher ed leaders who are part of the program. And we also have 1 iTech participant and 1 from NYSERNet. And you met our 6 mentors. Oh, I did brush past this. I didn't mean to do that. But that digital badge there that you see at the end of this experience, you'll each be awarded upon successful completion a digital badge. So you'll be able to share that on your LinkedIn, put it in your email signature, but you will be given a digital badge certifying that you've completed this program. So I'm going to spend probably about 20 minutes talking about the 360. So I'm going to skip it other than to say that it is not a traditional HR 360. So if you have participated in one of those, say your department is trying to achieve goals that are aligned to the mission and vision of the institution, and it's used to give you a promotion or a raise for the year, that is not what this is. This is a unique leadership skills inventory, and so more to come about that. So your mentor is going to be available to help you understand if the project that you're working on is a good fit for this experience, and we want to make sure that you are fully supported. So you'll be doing this together, and you'll have lots of milestones along the way to be able to apply the things that you're learning in the virtual classroom to the real work that you're doing to either advance your personal goals or the goals of your team. At the end of this experience, we'll be adding your project to our Applied Learning Project Library. So if you were browsing around the SAIL website, you may have seen the projects from the past. If you're looking for an idea of what to focus on for your project, or just looking, maybe somebody worked on something in line with what you're going to be working on, this is a great place to go and search. So our past projects are all available there. I will say that some personal data that is not for public consumption may be redacted or not included in those public facing versions of the presentations, but it's a great place to go check out past projects, and we will be happily adding yours at the end of this program. So today you're going to be introduced to what this is, and the first milestone along the way will come at the end of this month. It is leap year, so it'll be the 29th. So all you are expected to do at the end of this month is to submit a project title. That is it. So we want you to at least be thinking about what you might want to work on and toy around with some titles. You may want to go back not only to your mentor, but to your supervisor and just sort of work that out about what you'd like to focus on for your project. And then a month after that, we will do a check-in and just see how things are going. We've made some space in our agendas to be able to do that as a large group. We'll have one more check-in April 9th before the final presentation, which is on May 9th, and we're hoping that we will be together in Syracuse for the presentations. We have a number of resources that we'll be sharing with you. As a follow-up to the kickoff sessions, we'll be giving you a rubric. And so I should thank Simeon for developing that original version, and every year we make it a little bit better. So we want to give you clarity about what excellence is in terms of a project and what to be striving for. So that is a nice Excel document with all that detail. You'll also have this list of the milestones, so it will be easy at your fingertips. You'll be able to submit that title to a Google document that we have set up. We also have an optional, so this is nothing that you have to turn into us, but there's a Word document that takes you through a project implementation. So if this is new to you and you're looking for a little bit more guidance in terms of the things to consider, budget, communication plans, all of that is laid out in a step-by-step document. I love to think back to our first Academy 7 years ago, where we did not have a sample slide deck, and some folks tried to give us 44 slides in their 10-minute presentation window. Didn't go over that well, trying to throw the kitchen sink at everybody. So we have refined it to, I want to say, about 10 or so slides. And we have that available. So it's a nicely designed slide deck. Feel free to use that, or whatever your institution prefers that you use, or something of your own. But it's a sample PDF file that you can use as a template. But the most important part is the titles of the slides, so that you have a guide to be able to keep it brief and really hit those high notes of things that are going to tell the story in a cohesive way. And I shared with you the library, so I encourage you to check that out on the SUNY SAIL website. So you all have been given the link to the LinkedIn group, and I did just last night approve a few of you who we needed to connect on LinkedIn with first, but we'll be hopefully seeing all of you join our private group. If this is not open to anyone other than the 24 participants and the 6 mentors in our facilitation team. So this is just for you all, but we love to be able to use that as a landing place for all of the resources we share and continue the dialogue in between our live Zoom sessions. So if there's something that you read that you want to share with the group, questions that you want to ask, this is a space for you to be able to do that. We've also included the contact information for your mentor, as well as the full cohort. And you'll notice that we've added the administrative assistants for our CIOs who do have some support staff. So we just ask that you include them when you email. So what are the roles and responsibilities? We've got a couple of motivating quotes here. So John Maxwell says, one of the greatest values of mentors is the ability to see ahead what others cannot see and help them to navigate a course to their destination. And so we do have some mentor roles and responsibility documents so that it's a little bit more clear. I know mentorship is one of those vague terms. It can mean a lot of different things. It can be very casual and informal. We do give it a little bit more structure in this experience. It is a group mentoring situation, and we just want to give you a little bit more comfort and clarity with what it means to be a protege and how you can be most effective and get what you need. In terms of logistics, we will be back together using the same Zoom link tomorrow morning. So 9:30 to 12:30, we'll have part 2 of our kickoff. And then we will round it out with our focus on leading teams next week on the 8th. And it will be another morning session. So our half-day Zoom sessions will continue. Then we have 3 growth sessions. We call them growth sessions because you can anticipate something to read in between. It won't be a heavy lift, but we do usually give you something to consider in advance of these sessions. For the first one, we'll be talking about the results of your 360 debrief. And so we'll give you a video to watch. And then we'll have that time together live to really maximize any questions that you might have. And we have a trained 360 expert who's going to be available then. We know many of you are working in unionized environments, and so we will have some experts and an experienced CIO talking about their experiences working with unions and unionized staff. We'll be right at the midpoint of our program, March 26th, and so we have a half-day learning session set up for that. Another topic that is always interesting is conflict management. So we've got some past mentors, really amazing CIOs who come back and share their experiences. That'll be in early April on the 9th. That's our first afternoon session. We call this a wellness session. So April 25th, we'll be joined by one of our instructors in mindful leadership. And so she's going to help us to be able to focus on the wellness for ourselves as a leader, because this is an exhausting job. So it's important and not selfish to take care of yourself. And it also models the good behaviors for your team. So you want to make sure that they feel that this is an appropriate part of taking care of themselves and being healthy, and to be able to sustain your career over a lifetime. So not just, in the first year when you're so busy, but to be able to do this for the long haul. Before we wrap things up, we dig into communication. And so we'll have lots of resources for communication plans and get you ready for your presentation. So communicating as a CIO is the focus of that last session in early May. And then the following week, we will all be traveling to Syracuse. We are hopeful that we will have the space that we used last year at the beautiful SUNY Oswego Metro Center, which is in downtown Syracuse. And we will have information about the travel plans, including a room block and all of that later to come. So my contact information is here. If you're forgetting how to reach out to me or how to spell Matisky, we've made it so easy for you. It's leadership@suny.edu, and that message will go to the full SUNY Center for Professional Development team, which is where sales sits in the system organization. You could also reach out to us in LinkedIn, or you could reach out to either Christy or I at any point. So I've included the link to the webpage as well. You are now part of our community, and we want to make sure that you are able to share this information with your colleagues as well. So if you'd like to get emails from either NYSERNet or SAIL, we encourage you to go to both of our websites and sign up for emails. Maybe next year, if you'd like to nominate somebody else at your team for this experience, we love to just continue on and support the full community of IT leaders. So I'm going to stop talking and see what questions are on your mind. Let me stop share. Did I miss any questions in the chat?
No, I don't think so. If you have a question, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll call upon you if you're nervous about unmuting your mic.
Hi, I do have a question. It's Lindsay. Um, I know time is valuable and everything, but what if we have to run for maybe 10, 15 minutes away from our lovely little thing? Is that acceptable? Like, what are the expectations? I do have something I have to do tomorrow that happens to fall right around the 11, 12 o'clock hour of
Yeah.
this.
Well, you don't feel like you have to email us if you're, going to have to jump off for 10 minutes or so. That's not a big deal. We will record all of these sessions, so you can always go back if there's something from the large group that you want to go back and fill in the gaps. The small group discussions won't be recorded, so that is one thing. We'll share the agenda, so you'll know what portion you're going to miss. But you're all adult learners, and we know that you're here because you want to be better and you make every attempt to be here. So that's why we're so clear about what the schedule is in advance. A couple of you have had some issues that you've already emailed about, and that's wonderful. We won't be taking attendance. We like I said, you're adults and you're here because you want to be leaders, and we understand that sometimes there are scheduling conflicts that you can't avoid. If we notice a pattern of behavior where you're just not showing up for whole sessions, that might be a conversation that we have to have. But in general, that we totally understand. Yeah.
There's a question in the chat from Grace. Where can we find the information about the Applied Learning Project? I think we still have that yet to send out, right, Carolyn?
Yeah, I don't like to overwhelm people with everything all up front. I sent you quite a bit, and so I like to space it out. But we will be sending that as a follow-up email. Feel free to share those files so that you can keep them where it's convenient to you. Last year we did share them in the LinkedIn group, and so we will probably do that again, right, Christy?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
We can share it there. Yep. And email. Yep. Ryan has his hand raised.
Maybe I should just wait till I get that. But is the project more planning how to accomplish something or actually accomplishing it?
Okay, that's a great question. And I probably should, I'll in my follow-up, I'll send more details about that. There was a presentation that we had last year that covered that in more depth. So you don't have to have the project fully executed by the time you present it. We like to, and you don't want to pick something that you've already done and fully implement it. You're just measuring, future growth. So we are hoping that you can find something that you're currently working on or planning to work on in the immediate future. So if there's something, let's say in the next 6 months, that you'll be moving from vision to implementation, that would be ideal. Again, you don't have to have it done, but we just want to hear how you've reflected on the leadership lessons and how it's impacted the project wherever you might be in implementation. And this could be, we've had a variety of projects. Most of them are things that are assignments from your supervisor that you are responsible for leading. But this may be something that you see as a way to improve your organization. And this is an opportunity for you to step up your leadership and make a case to the leadership that this is something important. You have the resources and the support in the academy to be able to do it. And then we've also had people focus on things that are more personal. So from our first class, I can remember we had someone focus on making a conscious effort to improve her network. And, as somebody at system administration, really being aware of all of the leadership, not only at system, but at the campuses, and to get out of the comfort zone to be able to be more effective as a leader. So it could be, more personal in nature. Does that answer your question, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Jeff.
Hi. So this might be a question that only relates to me, but I have managed to, for the length of my career, avoid the cesspool that is LinkedIn and do not have an account there. How necessary is it to be part of that group, or is that kind of an additional resource that would be good to do, but not 100%, because I don't want every vendor that I've ever come across to all of a sudden be able to find me and deluge me.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's not required. And so if that's your, I mean, I sort of agree with like Twitter. I'm not in Twitter. But you know, if that's your choice, that you're not going to miss anything, we will send follow-up emails. So all of the communication will still, you won't you know, be missing out on that. You know, you'll miss out on dialogue between the group. But yeah, everything that you need as part of this experience will be given to you in an email. Oh yeah, it's not Twitter anymore, it's X, but no matter what they call it, I don't want to be there. So I get it. I don't think that LinkedIn is as atrocious, but I do enjoy it for networking. Any other questions?
Yeah, I don't see any other hands raised.
Okay. All right, well, that is all that I have prepared for our overview. And if I've answered all your questions, I think we should take a break. We have a little bit more time than I thought. So we will break and come back at 11:40.
All right, 11:40, everybody. See you back here.
And I am going to take you through an orientation for the 360 experience. I can't see if the recording is restarted. So if one of our co-hosts could do that.
Yep, I started.
Thank you. All right. So this is a custom tool that SAIL has been using for 7 years, actually, since the beginning of the institute's existence. And this is a newer version. So when I first started as director, there was a custom tool that we were using, but we had a big project to identify what exists out in the marketplace. And so we are using a platform called EchoSpan, and we have customized it for our SUNY leaders. And it is all aligned to those 6 domains that I mentioned before. So let me advance here. So what is our leadership skills inventory that I was referring to in the opening segment? This is going to be an experience where you are sent a link to complete a self-assessment, and that same exact set of questions will be sent to your raters. So you are the target in the system, and anyone that you send an invite to give you feedback is a rater. So you will end up with a report that will very easily identify how you see yourself and versus how others see you. So all of those different raters are put into categories. So you'll have that clear view of how you're supporting each of those rater groups. The beauty of this is that it is an online, confidential, anonymous group report. So people who you invite, they will not be, you know, sort of outed as giving you this feedback. You'll invite them, but you will not know who said what about you. And we encourage people going through this process not to go on a fishing expedition to find out who said what. Use this as a way of appreciating the feedback that you're given. And, you know, you're using this as a foundation for where you need to focus your energy, have a solid understanding of what's going well, what do you do naturally, what's your style, and how is that impacting others. So this does not define you. I understand that this is a vulnerable experience to put yourself out there and ask for this sort of feedback about your leadership. But we really encourage you to use this as a set of data to begin with. And once you have that report in hand, we consider that the beginning of the process. I know it feels like there's lots to do to get set up to even have the 360 happen, but once you have the report in hand, that's really, we consider that the beginning. Okay, so those 3, I won't go through the 6 domains again, but you'll notice in the self-assessment that you complete next week, all of the questions will be organized into those 6 categories. So the same will be true for what your raters are seeing. They're going to be asked questions about you, your skills, how you lead your team, if you know your institution pretty well, if you really are understanding the role and your purpose on the campus, and then also have an understanding of your larger context. There's also a section of questions for leadership derailment. So we don't expect you to be proficient in everything, but if there is an area that you should be aware that there are some challenges, we call those fatal flaws, we want you to have that in hand. So this SAIL Institute, and I think I can speak for NYSERNet too, that we have a strengths-based approach to leadership. And so we want you to have a clear understanding of what your strengths are as a leader so that you can do more of that. Okay. So what are the benefits, right? It's my job to sort of sell you on this because it's going to take you some effort, some vulnerability, but what's in it for you? We want you to be able to do more of the things you're naturally good at, not have spend a lot of unnecessary time, energy, money, resources to identify your weaknesses and correct each of them. But if there is an area of weakness that you need to know because it's really taking you off track in leadership, we'll give you, this report will highlight that. So you'll have your hidden strengths and your blind spots identified as well. You'll really clearly see those gaps in your awareness. So I like to give the example of the overly critical leader. So I may think that I do not hide my stress well. And so I'll rate myself as not managing stress well on the report. But do my direct reports or do the people I support see that? No. So that will come up where I'm rating myself lower than how others are seeing me, and vice versa. So you want to have a clear picture of where those gaps are. We want you to be able to focus on the areas of leadership that are going to be most critical to you in your role and your future roles. And so one of the real benefits is that you're going to just have a better way to communicate with your team and with your boss. I mentioned that this is anonymous, and so you won't know who said what. The one exception to that is if you have one supervisor. Most people report to one person. You will know what they said. And so we like to say that this is going to improve your communication because the report is only for you. It doesn't go to the chancellor or the president of your campus or anyone else, HR. You can decide who you'd like to share this with. And we encourage you to use that report and talk to your supervisor about the results and how you interpret it and seek more feedback. So you always want to be, keeping that dialogue going with your boss. And so this report will give you some good data to be able to have that conversation. So I've got two quotes in here. One is more sports bent and the other is more artistic. And so if you are a basketball fan and you know Coach Doc Rivers, he says average players want to be left alone. Good players want to be coached. However, great players want to be told the truth. And so this is hopefully going to give you a little bit of that data that you're seeking so that you can really focus on your leadership and be a great leader. However, if there were only one truth, you couldn't paint 100 canvases on the same theme. So I like to include this because we don't want you to get hung up on any one version of one person's opinion. So I know there is a natural human response to hearing criticism, reading criticism. And so we want you to see the bigger picture and the themes that are coming out of it and be in a place where you have the support to be able to deal with that. And so you will have the debrief experience with our trained facilitator. He is an expert in 360s and has debriefed thousands of these for SUNY. So you're in good hands. So at the SAIL Institute, we are big fans of Warren Bennis because he was a founding leadership development expert and an academic at heart, but then took his academic research in this area and put it into practice. So he served as a provost at University of Buffalo back in the 60s. And so a lot of his writing and his work are things that we reference. And so I love this quote from our great Warren Bennis. Until you truly know yourself, strengths and weaknesses, know what you want to do and why you do it, you cannot succeed in any but the most superficial sense of the word. The leader never lies to themselves, knows their flaws as well as assets, and deals with them directly. When you know what you want to make of it, then you can invent yourself. So here we are at the beginning of this leadership journey, and we're going to give you this 360 report that will help you understand all of these things and decide what you want to do with the data. Here's a screenshot from within the report. And so we've got this radar chart that will show you with color coding how you see yourself and how that compares to all of the other rater groups. So you can see we've got the self-assessment, direct reports, colleagues and peers, your manager, and we also have an other category. So this could be anyone else that you would like feedback from. They don't have to be at your campus. The emails can go beyond your institution. It could be someone who you reported to in the past, someone you worked with in the past. If you're on a board, you know, somebody who sees you with that leadership capacity. To be someone that you're ultimately supporting as a customer, in some way. But anyone who would be able to give you feedback about how you're doing as a leader, we want you to start to think, today and over the next couple of days about who you would like to invite as a rater. So those are the categories. I've got more details in this slide deck, which I will share with you about numbers of people to think about. And you will have some time to be able to put that list together on your own. And then once you're invited into the system next week, you can input those raters yourself. We won't be approving the rater list. This is all, for you to determine who to invite and send the invitations out to. Here's another screenshot so you can see the highs and the lows will be reported. And so each of those categories, you'll have a really quick vision of how you're doing in the domains. So there's a rating scale of 1 to 5, 0 to 5 actually, and then there's also the optional qualitative section. So people have the option to write more of a narrative to support any of their quantitative judgments. And so you'll see those, and they're all organized under the question categories. What I want to say about this is, because this is optional, some people can finish an assessment in 25 minutes. Some people will take up to 45 minutes. So that's in the email that is generated from EchoSpan to your invited raters. You don't need to know all of that. All we want you to do is to let the people know with a personal outreach of some kind, an email to everyone to say, very soon you'll be getting this invitation from me, and I appreciate you taking the time to give me your honest feedback. So that personal outreach will really increase your response rate, and we want a good response rate. We want 75 to 85% of the people that you invite to respond to this. And so we try to make that as easy as possible. They'll have automated messages that go out through the system. They'll have 2 reminders during the open feedback period. And so just that personal outreach will let them know it's not spam, that you want their honesty and you appreciate their time. One of the reasons our project group selected EchoSpan is because of its Harvard Business Review relationship. At the end of the 360 report, you'll see live links to Harvard Business Review articles that are connected to your particular data. So if your report says that you are struggling to see the big picture, how do you have more strategic thinking as a leader? You'll have articles that are curated for you, and you can access those immediately. So it's awesome, and I look forward to you having that right at your fingertips in about a month. What is next? What's in the immediate future? You're going to be thinking about your rater groups, and you're going to think about, most people have one boss, as I said. Some people report to a few people. So there's a range that we've allowed in the system. If any of these ranges don't work for you, if you need me to increase numbers, we can certainly do that. Just let me know. It's all customizable. You may not have any direct reports, and that's okay. That group won't be visible on your report, but we've got that set up for 0 to 20. We want you to invite all of your direct reports. Don't cherry pick. Colleagues and peers, this is where you can really get we want you to have at least 4 colleagues or peers that you're inviting, but we've got up to a dozen. And then those others, hopefully that category makes sense for you and you can start to think about who else could give you this feedback, and you can invite at least 1 up to 12. You have to have at least 3 responses in any one of these categories for it to be a valid data set. So that will maintain their anonymity. If you only had 1 person respond, you'd know who it was. You won't see on the report, did Joe Smith respond? You'll just see the what category that person was in and the overall numbers of how many people responded. At the end of this experience, we also will encourage you to thank everyone for their time. And you won't know, like I said, you won't know who responded, but we want you to treat everyone that you've invited as if they've responded and thank them. The report will be emailed to you through the online system February 27th. We'll be sharing with you a debrief that you can watch on your own time. That's one of those small in between our live session assignments. So you can plan your time accordingly there, but we want you to watch the debrief that Dr. Kirk Young talks about the 360, how to interpret data themes and all of that. And then if you have particular questions that you'd like to talk to Kirk about, he will be live with us on February 29th. So you'll have that opportunity. He also shares his email and contact information if you want more time with him. So he's happy to support you in that and help you understand what your report is saying and how to deal with it. The email address, the sender address is sender@echospan.com. If you want to include that in your personal outreach to people so they know this is a safe sender, and that rater selection email will go out on February 8th. So you'll get 2 emails from the system next week. The one will be for you to complete the self-assessment. So you'll get a preview of what those questions are. I always think that that's helpful to know what people are going to be asked. If there's a question that people don't feel comfortable or they don't see you as a leader in that particular way, they don't feel like they can answer that, there's an NA option. So I like to remind you of that because be broad in your invites. So don't feel like the person has to see you in all capacities. If there's something they don't feel comfortable with, they can select not to answer that question. So we will launch that project next week. You'll get that second email, which will let you go in and actually put the person's name, email address, and decide which category they fit into. The last day, this is in red because it's the most important piece of information, is the deadline, right? They'll have until February 25th to give you feedback. You'll just after that closes, the system will batch everything and send you your personal report. It's not going to anyone else. You can decide what to do with it, but we do want you to have read it before Kirk joins us on the 29th. You don't have to have gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, but if you have at least read it and have a general sense of what the feedback is when he's live with us, it'll make the most of your time with him. We've got lots of other resources on the SAIL webpage. If you look there, there's a 360 page, and there's a webinar that Kirk has led talking about the value of this. So I had one slide about the benefits, but he goes on in a panel discussion about 360s and the value of them. They're rather new to higher ed, but private Fortune 500 companies have been using them for many years, and they're very effective. So I'm happy that we can bring this as part of this Academy experience to you. There's also a short article that he wrote in our higher ed leadership lens. There's also a full sample report. I showed a couple of screenshots of what that report looks like, but if you want to see with your own eyes what it really will look like, it's available as a link. So he will challenge you to think about what's encouraging in your report, help you make sense of it, process any of those emotions, even if they are a little bit discouraging at first. So what do you do? And we want you to be able to leave really understanding how the strengths that you bring to the table are going to make you a better leader. And so he'll have a number of reflection questions. And there's also some action planning steps that you could take through the EchoSpan system afterwards too. So we will have this full academy and lots for you to consider. But in the EchoSpan system, there's even more of an environment set up to be able to take some steps as a result of your report. So we really are going to encourage you to reflect and think about your reactions, look for any opportunity to learn a little bit more, continue the conversation with your boss, maybe invite your direct reports to give you a little bit more feedback, and definitely not hold, hold them, don't use the report against them is basically what I'm trying to say. I know that you wouldn't, but I do want to remind you that they're giving you feedback and it's a gift. And so we want you to be appreciative of their time and their honesty. You'll have a mentor through this program, but there may be somebody else that you see in your world that would also serve as a good mentor. And so this process hopefully will give you the courage to seek out the mentorship that's going to help you along your path. So another way to contact me, that's all here, but I will send you this slide deck and the overview slide deck that I went through previously. What questions do you have about the 360?
So there was mention, Carolyn, about having a template possibly for the observers to be set in advance. And Lisa actually said that she has a template she would share with everybody.
Oh, great. Yeah, I have fulfilled this request jolly in the past and given something, but it runs the risk of sounding like someone else is saying it and not you. So I do really encourage, even if it's short and sweet, they don't need to know all the details, just that you're in the academy and you're doing a 360 and they'll get a link from EchoSpan soon. All the other details are in the message that comes out from the system, and we will continue to remind them if they haven't completed it before the deadline. But thank you for sharing whatever resource you have there. Who was that shared it? Or is going to Lisa?
Lisa, our mentor. Yep, she said to email her if you'd like to get a copy of it.
And I think I answered Ryan's question, but let me know if I haven't. The estimated time is about 25 minutes, but if they want to write a little bit more, it could take someone about 45 minutes, especially with your boss, if they really are giving it careful consideration about, the feedback that they give you. So 25 to 45 minutes is the average. Lisa.
Yes, does the feedback go just to us and then we share it with our mentor if we want to? Like, who does the feedback go to?
It only goes to you, and you get to decide who you share it with. We will encourage you to share it with your mentor and with your boss to be able to have a conversation like, this is what people are saying, and this is how I'm interpreting it. This is how I plan to respond. But yeah, it will only be for you to decide who is privy to it.
Thank you.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, I have a couple questions. So the people that you're sending off to do the rating, do they see how I rated myself, or is it just, here's the person, here's the questions?
They will not see how you rated yourself. No. Okay. They will only get the questions and have a 1 through 5 on each and opportunity to write more.
Okay. And for the other category, what is that exactly? So is that friends, acquaintances? Is it what kind of perspective?
Well, my friend down the road who I, have a drink with on Friday, I wouldn't send it to her. But my friend who I serve on the training development board with, she sees me as a leader. So I would consider asking her. It could be someone, my old boss, who I really appreciated her feedback and continues to see me. So I would ask her. I would put her in the other because she's not my current boss. Someone who has been mentoring me from the beginning of my career, I would definitely want their feedback. It could be someone like if you are seeking out fundraising opportunities or just some sort of like they're not directly connected to your work, but you do think that they could give you good feedback about how you're being a leader. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so somebody that sees you in a professional role, but doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
Mhm.
So for the people that you reach out to, I think we all probably have people that we work with that we don't necessarily get along with
Yep.
all that well. Are they good candidates or bad candidates for this?
If they're a
assessment?
direct report, I would say get their input, even if you think that it's going to be abrasive or difficult. If it's someone that is critical to the mission, like you have to collaborate with them, you're going to have to ask yourself the question, do I want to know the truth? Is it going to be helpful to me?
Yeah, I mean, it would be more that category. So, all right. Thank you.
Yeah, happy to talk to you more about that too. Ethan.
So if I understand correctly, you'll have to put the folks, the raters into those categories that you described, supervisor, et cetera. Would someone, 2 levels up, so supervisor, so in my case, I report to a director who reports to an AVP. Would I consider that person a supervisor or just another, or is that just up to my discretion? And do they, I guess when they receive it, is there a lot of disparity in terms of the way the questions are portrayed that would lead me to choose one over the other?
Good question. I think it's up to your discretion ultimately, and you'll just maybe think about how you want it displayed on your report. Like what's going to make most sense to you to put them with all of, like if you have a large group of colleagues and peers, is it going to get meshed in there in a way that you want it to be more, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll just have to think, for yourself, like how it makes more sense. But I'm happy to work with you a little bit more if you want to think it through.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Hi, Ryan.
And this might be moot because they're not going to have time to do it anyway. But if I only have one supervisor, they just won't show regardless because it didn't hit that 3 number.
Oh, no, if you have one supervisor, you will see it. It will be a valid data set with just one response. That's the only thing I was saying about that is all the other groups will only display if you have 3. And so it's group data. It's completely anonymous. If you have one boss, you will know this is what my boss said very clearly. But that's by design. Does that make sense? Okay. What other questions? Did I miss anything in the chat, Christy?
Nope, I think we're all set.
Okay. Yeah, ultimately, if you could have at least 12, we consider that a robust data set, but cast a wide net. The more people that you invite, the better response you're going to get. We know that not everyone will respond. That's just the nature of, especially with like about 3 weeks having this open, people are just going to be busy. But it really will help your response rate with sending a short and sweet personal outreach to say, I will appreciate your 25 minutes. I see Lisa nodding her head, right? Isn't that a best practice? Yeah, thank you, Lisa. All right, so what do we have next on our agenda? Let me pull that document up.
Our mentor discussion panel, I believe, and I'm going to try to attempt to do the spotlight thing. I just did not have any luck with it before.
Okay, and we have prepared our mentors with just a couple of questions. And since we are our time is so precious and limited, I will encourage you again to put questions that pop into your mind for the mentors in the chat. And the other mentors who are not speaking will be encouraged to respond. And so we will kick things off with a lightning round. Let me just find my question. I'm going to challenge each of our mentors to say 1 or 2 words that will identify the challenges ahead for 2024. So in just the limited, 1 or 2 words, what is your big, hairy, scary issue or challenge that you'll be grappling with? And I'm going to go alphabetically. So Simeon.
AI.
Thank you. Kitty.
Prioritizing amidst hype.
Excellent. Denise.
Budget constraints and communication.
We're already getting some variety. Look at this. Lisa.
Strategic planning and budget.
And Garrett.
Digital transformation.
Mm.
The new
Sean.
buzzword.
Yeah, I'll say change and resources.
Excellent. Excellent. All right, I'm sorry, I'm struggling here. I should have had my other document open. I just need 1 second to get my question, but they probably know their question, so they could probably start answering it, huh? Let's see.
Can you shed a little light on your current role and responsibilities? Any intersection to the challenges you've already laid out will be appreciated.
Thank you, Sean. Since you so graciously took that on and served as moderator and panelist, would you like to respond first? You have that honor.
Okay, so I talked about change and resources. So when I think of actually, it's like accelerated change. It's unbelievable. It feels like how quickly things are coming at us, and particularly at Oswego, we have a new president, our first new president after 26 years, and he's coming to us from a CUNY school, Lehman, and he wants to move at 100 miles per hour. So we're in the midst of strategic planning, and I think he's got a great plan, and there's a wonderful opportunities that are ahead of us, and it is important that we seize on them, but it is at a high rate, which then takes me to our resource constraints, which our funding is low, and a couple of others mentioned budgeting. Our staffing isn't what it was pre-pandemic, which brings its own challenges and makes the acceleration and what needs to be accomplished seem much more challenging, which goes back to the time that we have to go and to implement everything. And I don't know, for most people, we come in on Monday and then it's Friday afternoon. It kind of feels like the speed of the game is so high. So managing that and working with my staff and making sure that they're focused on what's important really feels like something that's important, so that they don't get into this trap of having so much to do and feeling burned out come Friday afternoon and the end of the month and the end of the year. So it's a challenging time, but I think we're up to it. We're ready to take on what the digital transformation brings to us.
Excellent. Thank you, Sean. Since we've bucked the order, is there a mentor that would really like to go next?
Sure, I'll go next. For me, being new in my new role at Stony Brook, I always think that as a new leader, there are a few challenges that you face that may be slightly different for someone who has been in the role much longer. And in this particular case, there are some milestones that I've established for myself. One is getting myself fully woven into the fabric of the institution. But second, having conversations so that within 6 months on the job, we are able to collectively craft an IT strategic plan that we can also begin implementing. And I said those milestones, 100 days and 180 days, because in my experience, if you fail to establish a strategy within that time frame, you'll just be floundering and reacting for the rest of your tenure. So that is one of the things that I have set up for myself, and I see it as a way of
aggregating efforts, conversations in a concerted fashion so that we stay focused and very disciplined in our approaches to launch transformation, innovation, and inclusive culture on our campus, but also keeping in mind that we want to have digital equity at the center of our work. So I just gave you the essence of our strategic plan, which we hope to launch the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more that you have to say about AI too. Kitty, would you like to go?
Sure. I second everything that Sean said, and in particular, I think about the number of priorities and how fast they are coming at us. The AI mania is only part of this, and I keep trying to remind people that we've seen hype before. We haven't seen it come at us quite this fast, but we have seen hype like this, so we ought to be able to manage this if we can kind of keep our heads above water and take the long view, which is sometimes hard to do in the sort of rat-a-tat-tat of technology. The other thing that I think is a backdrop for me this year in particular, and it's the lowercase p and uppercase p political world that we're all going to be in this year, and ensuring that our staff, and obviously students and others, but we're mostly responsible on the staff side, that our staff feel supported through this, what can be very difficult on campus and on off-campus environment.
Excellent. So just as a reminder of the question, our mentors are shedding a little bit of light on their current roles and responsibility and trying to intersect it with the challenge that they mentioned as their one-word response. So anyone who wants to jump in, Lisa, Denise, or Garrett?
I can go. You said my name first, so I'll just go. Okay. And I'll get moved up if you jump out of line again. So I talked a little bit about the budget and strategic planning, and actually I'm going to echo a lot of what your other mentors have already spoken to, because I think ditto for all of that as well, right? We all face these challenges in one way or another. It's not just these two that we identified. There's also just the operational life that plays on top of all this, and there's people involved, right? So you can't have just a conversation to say you shall without understanding what that means. So I can tell you that the mantra of our president of late has been do less with less. But unfortunately, we live in an environment that says, hey, I got another good idea, but you can't take that old one away that you're already doing. So it's how do you balance the budget, which is the other pressure that's now been put on people. And in my case, I manage a state budget, a variety of state budgets, and a variety of the student tech fee, the broad-based fee. And how do we be good stewards of that? So how do we be good stewards that meet what we need to meet in terms of the technology that needs to be used here? And by the way, all those prices have gone up, as we've learned. Contract pricing has gone up dramatically. Equipment has gone up dramatically. And so how do we continue to replace all that technology and upgrade those software products and make them still all meet the need without going too far into the red if at all? And what do we need to do when we have to, or you're asking me to do something and it's going to cost a little bit more, and you don't want me to get rid of that old thing. So it's getting the senior leadership to understand that I may have to get rid of that old thing if you want me to do this new thing. So, and really trying to teach them that. And then, strategic planning, what's challenging for me is our strategic plan expired, but I'm not ready to leap into doing our strategic plan because so did the campuses. So it's kind of hard to support a future strategic plan when they haven't gotten theirs done in place. So I've been trying to work with the staff to say, okay, what do we want to accomplish in the short term, that being 6 to 18 months? And then what do we want to accomplish long term, that hopefully once you get your strategic plan in place, we can then develop ours that formalizes what we've been discussing. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm trying to figure out how to do less with less, which would be great, but
Thank you. Denise?
I'm just saying ditto to everybody above me. I'm not going to go into the budget, though. Everything Lisa just said, just like repeat. It's just exactly what we're facing right now. We're coming down to tough decisions about staffing and equipment and software. What can you replace? What can't you replace? Probably then the biggest focus that that I'm having is going to be on how to build collaboration and improve communication within the college and stuff. That the only way to get through all of this stuff is to have really good lines of communication and to be able to collaborate across departments. And that really is not the culture yet. And while our team has to do that as part of IT, you're used to working with departments because you have to find out what people are doing, but it's not the culture everywhere else, like all throughout the college. I don't even sit on a senior staff, and it's really hard when things happen up above, like you're talking about strategic planning, and we're trying to plan our work, and then stuff happens, or we get notified of things. So it's trying to build that culture and pathways of communicating so that we don't get blindsided. And also so that, when things happen, we've had a huge amount of turnover. We've had 3 senior staff members like retire or leave within the last couple of months. We had an IR person leave. Our IT team is stepping in to take those roles. So we're still trying to get work done on top of helping a lot of other departments who are losing staff too. So, that strategic planning becomes huge, the budget's huge, but the really figuring out how to build that collaborative team up, down, and sideways to make our team be able to function, I think is really where we're going to be focusing a lot on.
Changing culture is so difficult, Denise, but they're lucky to have you. I think your communication and collaboration are where you excel. So you've got this. Garrett.
Okay, I mentioned digital transformation. So basically, within the last 10 years here at my institution it's proven a challenge to get everyone to accept technology, because we get into the hamster wheel. We've always done it this way, so let's just continue to do it that way. And kind of making our stakeholders and our customers believers in the technology, and believe actually in my teams or teams that I work with, and that the processes or new systems will work and improve efficiencies. I do want to piggyback on what Denise mentioned about talent. Talent is huge right now. We've lost a few people to the corporate world. We've, to retirement, to other institutions where they're all doing great work. But, we have to make it an attractive place that people want to come and work, where they really buy into the vision. And, it not becomes a thing of money. It becomes a thing of, man, I'm really leaving this great mission that I'm really tied into. So that's a huge challenge for me at my institution right now. So.
Well, I just want to wish our mentors luck as they take on these big problems, because we know that where there's a challenge and less resources, you're challenged to be more creative and innovative in your thinking. And so maybe even just having these conversations with one another today will spark something. So we just want to thank you for being open in your, leadership journey and what you're facing. You're not scaring us away. For those of us who are eager to have a chance to try leadership, you're sort of opening this world for people, and we just want to thank you for your honesty and transparency in this. Were there any? I didn't see any questions in the chat, but we have a few minutes. If you have a question about the higher ed challenges ahead for our CIOs, this is the place to ask. Oh, John is asking, how is everyone dealing with talent acquisition? We're finding it harder to find and recruit talent as we deal with competition from remote work and outside competitive salaries.
I'll jump in on that one. I've been really fortunate. We were able to hire a couple of really talented programmers that have helped us tremendously. So that's been really good, but partly it's because the culture at Corning allows for remote work, and we're not 100% remote. I think I failed to mention I'm a remote CIO as a service to Corning. I go out to Corning like once a month and stuff, but it's a reality, and they're very open to that. So, getting that culture to change at your campus, if they don't see remote work as an option, is maybe the place to get started, because that's how we've been able to attract people.
I'll jump in. We're pretty fortunate to have a great talent pool within our CS and CIS programs. So we're plucking from our own pools. Professors are identifying the talent and we're pulling them in. Internships. I have a student. So I also adjunct. I have a student that says, "Hey, can I work with your network people and kind of take a look and see what a day in the life is?" And I'm going, So we've got a whole semester. I'm thinking about making that a project. You come in, you do an hour or two and see what it's like, right? And you never know what you're going to get. So, yeah.
Great idea.
I'll speak briefly about some of the things that we're doing at Stony Brook, really focusing on the retention of those who are here, making people feel valued is very, very important for us. So whether it's through projects or just celebrating people's accomplishments, but also for me as a CIO, not just to talk so much about the technology, which people can do anywhere. Garrett, I really like the point that you raised. For the CIO also to speak about how IT professionals are contributing to student success and the university's research expenditure. When we can turn the narrative in those terms so that we take it away from the hardware, software, and applications, we create that sense of value and mission for people. So those are some of the few things in celebration of people's accomplishments.
Yeah, which is a direct answer to Grace's question in the chat. The question also made me think of something that Denise shared in a past academy. Denise, could you share a little bit more? Maybe you haven't done this at Corning yet, but I know it used to be something that you would do every year, put together a slide deck and to celebrate.
In fact, we have a meeting in a half an hour to put a slide deck together. So what we've done in the past and what we've done with Corning is literally taken pictures of what has my staff accomplished, and we present that. And Corning actually is doing that too. In the past, we actually put it to music and made it fun and stuff, but really highlighted all the things that everybody was doing. And Corning presents it actually as a virtual session for the entire college to come and see, and they highlight each division about what they're doing. So we've went through like everything from, hey, this is what it looks like when somebody's installing a camera to here's when they've cleaned up the, reran wiring in the data closets, things like that, because I think it's really important to highlight the staff, and people don't see that stuff. People don't see them drilling holes through the wall or pulling wires, and all of that stuff has to happen. And sometimes it's really dirty jobs and it's not, appreciated or not recognized. And, so those are some of the things that we do try to, get our staffs out there. I also wanted to add one other thing too. And I think one of the roles as a CIO, and right now when budgets get tight and all these projects keep coming at you and everybody wants their project. Nobody wants to say, oh, we can stop doing this, like Lisa said. It's like, oh, and do this, and do this, and do this. And it's draining and it's hard. I mean, it's hard as a CIO at times to not get extremely frustrated and want to say, like, oh God, am I the only one facing this? But, so it helps hearing this from everybody. And I think the other piece and role is that I see my job is to run interference so that people aren't attacking the staff to say, geez, how come you didn't get this done when we may not have known about it? And protecting them from, people not being nice. And that's sometimes when people are frustrated when budget cuts happen, that gets really hard. And that's just a role that, you've got to kind of build a tough shell when you have to take some abuse sometimes from people when they're frustrated and things like that.
I know we only have 3 minutes left for this session, but I want to point out a question that came in the chat. So any of the mentors who either want to address it out loud or in the chat, it was a follow-up. Anyone having issues with union limitations to qualifications for talent? And we've got a pretty active chat here. So thank you for continuing that. With our remaining 2 minutes here, I wanted to just thank our mentors again. Thank my partner, Christy. Thank all of you for your active engagement. I know a half day on Zoom can be challenging sometimes, but we've built in a little bit of a break. So hopefully you come energized for part 2 tomorrow. And we look forward to continuing this conversation. We will hear from our fellow, Dr. Marcia Burrell. You may recognize that name, Sean, from Oswego. She was there for 30 years. She's amazing, and she will walk us through the 6 domains of leadership and will challenge you to reflect about each of them for yourself. And then we will have more small group activity. You'll hear from Scott Vinciguerra. He will energize us with his presentation on discovering your leadership voice. So we've got quite a lot, and then we will continue with our mentors. They will talk a little bit more about their personal leadership journey. So how did they get here? So we just look forward to you joining us with your energy, enthusiasm, your questions, and your willingness to learn. And you'll see an email probably after tomorrow's session with follow-up resources that we've referenced today. But we hope we see you on LinkedIn and that you all have a good night. Is there anything else that I've missed housekeeping-wise, Christy?
No, I think you hit it all.
Oh, good. Well, thank you all. And I'll stick around for another minute or a couple minutes if you have any particular questions you want to talk with us about. But we'll stop the recording and thank everyone again.
Thank you.